Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
Hey guys, it's Robert from the College Investor here, and today we are talking about how to find grants to pay for college. So if you tuned in yesterday, you know I launched my Side Hustlin' Student Scholarship Opportunity, and we talk a lot about paying for college with scholarships and grants. Well, most people focus on the scholarship part, and that's a smart thing to do because there's about, I would say, 1,000 to 1 scholarships to grant opportunities. But grants are great choices too if you qualify. So I did want to spend a little bit of time talking about how you can help cover the cost of college with grants. So what is a grant and what's a scholarship and what's the difference? Well, most scholarships are awarded on a combination of merit and need, but grants are primarily awarded on the basis of need. For most grants, grades are not a factor. It's about, can you afford college or not? And grants are like the free money of college tuition. So it's important to know, if you definitely are applying for scholarships and you definitely need help to pay for college, grants should be at the top of your list as well. So how can you get a grant? Where can you go? How do you figure this whole thing out? Well, there's a few different types of grants, but it all starts with the FAFSA. So if you remember 2 weeks ago, we talked about how to fill out the FAFSA and why it matters. Well, you are never going to get a grant ever on state or local or federal grant or colleges or whatever if you don't fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. So fill out the FAFSA, and then once you fill it out, any grants that you're eligible for, you'll start receiving financial aid award letters letting you know you're eligible for any college grants. And you do have a few options. So colleges can choose, you have federal grant options, and there's a bunch of different ones, and you'll get the federal grant option notice in your financial aid award letter. So in your award, you could get a federal Pell Grant, and these are the largest and most common source of grants, and they are awarded solely on your financial need. You can also get an academic competitiveness grant, and this grant is a combination of merit and need for college freshmen and sophomores. There's a federal supplemental education opportunity grant, and these grants help low-income undergraduate students who need substantial financial aid for college tuition. There's Teach Grants. Teach Grants are options for teachers who agree to teach at 4 years at a low-income elementary or secondary school. There's Iraq and Afghanistan service grants, and these are eligible to students whose parents or guardians passed away as a result of military service in Iraq or Afghanistan. There is the SMART grant, and this is the National Science and Mathematics Access to Retain Talent grant, and this is available to juniors and seniors on the basis of need and merit. And there's also grants from your state and from your school. So while the FAFSA is the mainstream gateway to financial aid, it's not your only option. You can also fill out what's called a CSS profile, and this will help you get access to grants as well as scholarships for your college education. Unlike the FAFSA, the CSS is more slightly in-depth, and it costs some money to apply. It costs $25 for your application and then $16 for each school you're applying to. But if there's a school that you feel is out of your league, it could totally be worth it, because if you're going to pay, what is that, 25 plus 16 is $41. You could get thousands of dollars in grants. It could be totally worth it. After you've gone through all your federal grant options, you should also look at your state grants. There's definitely state grant agencies, and we put a link in the show notes on the blog, so you can go to thecollegeinvestor.com/episode 51, and you can click on the link for state grant agencies, and it will link to different grants that are offered by states. And there's also special grants. There's grants for women, for minorities, for international students, for disabled students. And many of these are the most overlooked grants because a lot of people just don't know they exist. So we link to a bunch of them on our website, thecollegeinvestor.com/episode 51, but check it out. There's some grants available for international students. They're not typically huge grants, but they're a good place to start. There's grants available for female female students of all backgrounds. Many organizations have taken steps to support women to get them on an equal footing in education. And so we link to a few of the big ones on our site, including the American Association of University Women, the Seroptimus Live Your Dream Award. There's the PEO program for continuing education and more. There's also minority grants. So while federal aid is open to all ethnicities, some financial aid is offered specifically for minority applicants. So regardless of your ethnic background, you should still fill out the FAFSA and explore all of your options. But, there's grants for Asian Americans, African Americans, Native Americans, Hispanics. There's just different organizations out there that will provide grants to help minorities pay for college and get on an equal footing as well. And finally, there's national organizations for disabled students as well that provide grants to help disabled students attend college and get an education as well, whether it's mental or physical disabilities, blindness, cystic fibrosis, and more. There's different grants available to help offset or pay for the cost of college. So while FAFSA and the Department of Education and the federal government is still the first place you should visit when applying for financial aid and looking for grants, there's this federal, state, private, college-based grants that you can't dismiss because they are free potential money out there that they are trying to give you to pay for college. So honestly, if you're looking for alternative ways to pay for college or looking at scholarships, don't dismiss grants. Grants are out there. They're able to help close the gap between what you owe for college tuition and maybe what you have saved and what you have to borrow. So, what has been your experience? Have you ever applied for a grant? Did you use grants to pay for college, or are you thinking about it right now? I would love to know. Leave your comments on the blog, thecollegeinvestor.com/episode 51. And I would love to know, what are your thoughts on grants? All right, guys, thank you very much, and I will talk to you next time.